Hi, I'm Brent Gilstrap of Carroll Jones Realtors, and today my guest is John Parker with A-Pro Home Inspections. Have used John a lot in his company, and what I like is trustworthy, dependable, quick, communicates, reasonable price, communicates with my clients. Basically, he is a part of the team. When we're getting somebody from an offer to close, he's a crucial member of that team. One thing I really like about A-Pro is they provide a bound copy of the inspection, but it's not just a bound copy. They've got the computer disc of the inspection, but they also provide a checklist of things as the homeowner would need to do to maintain their home. With that, there's a place to write in their repairs, their maintenance, and what I tell my clients is keep this when they make a correction of some sort or a maintenance issue. They record that, they put the receipts in there, and then when they go to sell their home, we set that out so that the potential buyer can see how conscientious the homeowner was, and it helps them in their pricing and negotiations.
Absolutely.
And that. So, all right, John, tell me, how long have you been in business?
About 10 years. So
Okay.
we started in 2006, and we've just grown exponentially ever since.
Okay. The one thing about that I've studies have shown is people that are masters in their field, it takes about 10,000 hours of practice.
Oh yeah.
And that usually takes around 7 years or so. So you would be considered a master in your field.
Absolutely.
Based on the experience that you've had. What are some of the things that you've learned that you know now that that early on maybe you didn't know? What's some?
The wording in the report is very, very important. You want to be honest without being frightful, because you don't know who your audience is. It could be someone who's very experienced in buying houses and don't scare very easily, or someone who's first time buying a house and they're scared of everything. So you've got to be very careful in your wording. And like I said, I encourage them to be there during the inspection.
And that's one thing I like. I encourage my clients to be there, and usually about 30 minutes till you're done. You do a great job of explaining everything. You pull the computer up, you show the individual items, and help them understand the process, and I love that. So what about, how did you choose to get into home inspections?
Well, it was actually my wife's idea. I was a medical technologist for about 25 years in the military, and I made good money, but I wanted to do something that had higher calling. So I looked at several different industries, and I chose to buy a franchise. I brought A-Pro franchise in this market, and I've been doing it ever since.
In the training aspect, you do quite a bit of training, not just for yourself, but also your employees.
Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate on that?
When I bought the franchise, we went down to San Antonio, Texas, and did their basic level. And then from there, we joined ASHI and ISHI and NACHI. Those 8 organizations have online training programs, so you train through them. And then continuing education.
That's a certification?
That is correct. And then continuing education. There's always, you always have to do things just like most of your professional fields nowadays. You have to have some kind of continuing education to maintain your certification. And so all my guys are always continuing.
I'll tell you what I like in my experience with you. One, you have gone above and beyond. When I've had some inspections that, or some like a VA loan that has like little extra particular things and stuff, where you'd gone back out to, get the water test that we needed and things like that. And, it's good attitude,
Yeah.
Service. There's things that I like as well that you'll see something and you'll say, hey, you may want to get like a heat and air guy out here and check this out, or a roofer to check this. And so you really alert. So if we need to go at a deeper inspection, you give us that info quick so that we can get it done within the time frame, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Home inspectors are jack of all trade, master of none. But while we don't recommend another professional come out there and do it all the time, every once in a while, like an HVAC system that's got a rusty heat exchanger, that was something we would recommend an HVAC guy
Yeah.
come out here. Or let's say there's some hail hits on the roof, hey, might get a roofer double check that. But 90% of the time, it's all right there in the report, and you don't have to
Yeah.
do a secondary
Yeah. Well, that's,
inspection.
that 10% of the time, that's what I appreciate, that you said, hey, you need to check this out.
Right.
And so therefore I can, it gives me a heads up where I can protect my client.
Absolutely.
And again, that's just
And
part
that's
of
our
the
goal,
team.
is
Yeah.
to protect everybody in concern.
Yeah.
Not only our client, which we are actually beholden to protect the realtor, the brokerage, everybody involved in the process. Because our main goal is honesty. We want to be 100% honest that we possibly humanly can.
So with your company, do you have like a mission statement or an objective that you try to carry out? And from that, do you have like goals for the year? What's your framework in that sense?
Well, the old adage is the customer's always right. I don't buy into that, but I buy into 100% customer satisfaction. We can agree to disagree, but we're going to make sure that you're happy. And if we can't make you happy, we're going to give you your money back. So, and the other thing is, as far as goals, like I said, my guys are all continuing education all the time. Some of the things we're going to be bringing on board this next year is drone technology. We're going to start using that for, sometimes we can't get on a roof because of the pitch or the height. We only go 17 feet. And if it's any higher than that, we just kind of step back and look at it and use binoculars. Well, with the drone technology, we'll be able to get more in depth and look at it a little bit closer. And the other thing is, we used IR, which is infrared camera. We would use that as a confirmatory tool and to further investigate issues. We're actually going to bring that on as a screening tool this year. We're actually going to do it and screen the whole house. Kind of fought that just a little bit, but there is some value to it. But with HGTV, like with Homes on Homes, they really brought that into bearing, and people really want that for their home inspection. So we'll be bringing that on board. And then the other thing is, we used to do a digital level survey. We'd measure the four corners of the home with this water level. And we're actually going to be bringing that back on board this year as well. There's been some call for that. And if it brings value and satisfaction and helps the client, that's our goal. So we just don't want to introduce problems.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. What did you want to do when you were a kid? What was the dream job or the dream career when you were young?
Well, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I know that's kind of totally out there.
I
But
can actually see you in the hat. Yeah.
Indiana Jones. Yeah, I thought it was a fascinating field, but the older I got, there's no money in it unless you get government grants.
You got to take care of your family.
You got to take care of your family. So.
All right. So, what are your business objectives and goals?
Objectively, I'd like to maintain 100% customer satisfaction at all times. I mean, that's not human. That's not realistic. You can only be 96% accurate at anything you do, and that's if you're at the top of your field. But I'd like to do my best to always maintain customer satisfaction. I'll give you an example. We did over 1,800 inspections this year, and we only had 2 complaints. That I'm aware of. I'm sure there's some people. We can't make everybody happy, but I really want to make sure that I'm doing the job that I'm being paid for, and I'm doing it honestly, fairly, and accurately.
So, what advice, say, somebody that is considering to purchase a home, and they'll say, "Hey, John, what things do I really need to be aware of as I'm going through this before I make my offer?"
Well, let's talk about that for just a second. If before you even make your offer, if you're physically capable of doing it, poke your head in the crawl space, just kind of get a quick look.
What are you looking for in this?
You're looking for moisture. You're mainly looking for moisture, mold, or rot.
Okay.
Or if you hear anything like leaking down there, or any funny smells, you definitely want to address that, because while mold is normal in a crawl space, we use the word fungal because mold scares people. But if fungal growth is normal in a crawl space, but if there's a lot of it, that's when we want to address it. At any given time, you can have up to 20 gallons of humidity in a crawl space. So moisture barriers are very important to me. In my opinion, they're a must. You get 5 different people who's going to give you 5 different opinions on moisture barriers, and so we're all very opinionated on that, but I think they're important. So, and I always address that. Poke your head in the attic. Look for busted rafters, lots the amount of insulation, mold growth, because you can get mold on the sheathing inside the attic. Just kind of general walk around, especially on brick houses, because they'll have cracks. Just because it has cracks doesn't make it a bad house. That if they're just little minor cracks, that's normal, and we can address those and get those repaired. And then just kind of look at your roof, look for missing shingles, damage, those kind of things. And so just a general observation. Take notes so you can let your inspector know that.
Okay. All right, so just shift gears just a little bit. What is the most bizarre thing you've ever come across when you were doing home inspection?
Yeah, well, we kind of talked about this before, but I think I did not do this when my other guys did, but they were in the north side of town, and they did a home with a cellar in it. And in that cellar, there was these big, long, femur-looking bones. And it was laid out in such a way, it just looked bizarre. So they ended up calling the city in, and they brought in forensics, and it ends up being it was pig bones. So I guess that they had an old timer peoples that are used to slaughtering animals. They slaughtered a hog in there, and it was really bizarre. So I remember getting the phone call from the police department and my guy, and he's all freaking out. But that was pretty interesting.
So then, shifting from business to more personal, tell us just as far as your personal mission or your personal goals that as a, they can be related to business, but as they spill over into just you as a person.
Well, first of all, I'm a Christian, and I know people hear the word Christian nowadays and they think, oh yeah, he's just using that to forward his business. But let me tell you something. The only difference between a Christian and a non-Christian is grace. That doesn't mean that we're better. Doesn't mean that that we should be for get a pass or whatever. But the only difference is grace. And we still make the same mistakes. We have the same temptations, and we screw up just as much as everybody else. We just have grace. So, and I kind of use that and all my guys we know that we operate on Christian values. I don't say they have to go to church. I don't say that they have to be a Christian, but we operate on those values, meaning that we're going to listen to our clients. We're going to do what's right every time that we can. Are we perfect? No, but we're going to do our best we can every time.
So then your faith affects that you want to do quality work.
Absolutely.
And not be dishonest. You mentioned honesty while ago as an important value, so that kind of affects that. So for you personally, then what would you say your goals personally are as far as for your own personal growth or your own mission, so to speak?
Well, being in the missionary field, we've gone to missions all over the world, and I just think we need to spread love. And we need to do that in our business and our personal lives, because when we're shoving Christianity down other people's throats, that doesn't get anybody anywhere. We need to lead by example. We need to show love and show them what Christianity is, not preach at them.
Okay.
So show them to do the right thing. Show them that we're doing the best we can.
Okay, so that's kind of for you, when you interact, whoever you interact with, you kind of have that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good. So tell us a little bit about your personal self a little bit. As you're married, you have kids. How'd you meet your wife?
I actually met her on Yahoo.com. I got divorced from my second wife. Long story, but yes, I'm a Christian, and yes, I've been divorced. But I'm on my third wife. Awesome lady. Met her on Yahoo Personals, and been married for 15 years, and we're big horse people. We ride all over the country. We have a little horse ranch. A little horse ranch. So, it's not like it's some giant operation. But, and then my youngest son is still living in the house, and he was about 6 inches taller than me and outweighs me about 40 pounds. He's a huge boy, offensive guard. But,
and you have a son that works with you.
I got a son that works with me. I've got a nephew that works with me. My daughter and my daughter-in-law work with me, and my wife. And then I have 2 guys that are brothers. They work for me as well. So
okay,
it's very
it's kind of a family business.
Absolutely. Nepotism is a wonderful thing.
All right. So what about just in general? What's your hobbies? What do you like to do? You mentioned horses.
That's mainly what I do. And
So if you're free time, you're with the horses.
With the horses, doing the barn, taking care of the cattle, and And if I'm not doing that, I'm sitting down going, "Phew, what a day." So
Is that what you do for fun?
well, there's not much time for fun. But for fun, we go on our mission trips. We like to do that. This last mission trip, we were in South Africa, and we did a safari after that. So that was really fun.
Okay. John, if somebody would like to use your services or would like to get more information from you, how can they contact you?
They can call Lynn or Roxanne at the office at 417-894-1782. They can also email us at apro, which is APRO, at apro-mo.com, or our website, www.apro-mo.com.
Thank you, John, for coming out and visiting with us today and sharing some information. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us for this interview. I'm Brent Gilstrap of Carroll Jones Realtors. Have a great day.